All right, welcome back. This is course 5, exercise motivation. So, we're pretty much going to dive right into this, but I do want to make note. This is the number 5. This course is really showing us how do we transition from being in a imaginary mental non-physical state and starting to transition into the actual physical state. Now, the way that your practice, your changed behaviors enact itself in the world, it comes through layers. Everything is a layer. Think of it as zooming in or zooming out, but it's not stagnant. The most important thing that we need to understand is how things are created over time. And not everything is created in your mind over time. Sometimes wisdom is created outside of your mind through your ways to get us started, but these will be similar ways to get us restarted once we actually get into course 10. So when we double it up and we're ready for change again, we'll see how this reflects in the end. All right, so course 5, exercise psychology and motivation. So of course, join in on the Yo Soy Soul Networks. But without further ado, Chapter 1, Understanding the Psychological Effects of Exercise. Looking at exercise psychology, we have to realize that you as a person, you're very different. You're not the same as anybody else, but then the groups that you connect yourself with are not the same. And then the categories that you divided within, whether you want to or not, aren't the same as others. So we're always going to have an assortment of different ways to view the world, an assortment of different ways to view what motivates me, a lot of different ways to identify who that me is, which is claiming stake to something that is of interest. We have to pay attention to ourselves. So, a lot of the psychology behind exercise comes down to the activities that we just enjoy in recreation. The recreation aspect extends beyond just physical sports and activities, but this is the idea of the mind latching on to interests. These interests that we are latching on to are the things that will eventually create motivations for us, or it will create stagnation. Sometimes you have to do certain things, but other times you have to do things for a purpose. We have to realize that we can enact both at any point in time. So, this is important for the things that you don't want to do, but you kind of need to do. You know you need to do it. So, it's going to be easier if you can figure out a psychology that you can claim about yourself, some truthful evidence that shows you it's okay to accept this. I don't have to resist. I know I don't like it, but I don't have to resist these changes. So, this comes down to Chapter 2. Exploring exercise preferences. You have to have a preference. You got to know what you want and what you don't want. You got to have these details. Once these details are established, then you can start to try changes within those interests. What do those changes do? Well, it helps you set better goals. It helps you tell yourself how much energy and effort you're willing to put into this activity. And guess what? You can start to work your way around those things. But who are you and why would you choose a certain goal? That is a very important question because the birth order from how you are reared and nurtured, that has a huge influence on the things that you feel like you need in this world. When we take a look at firstborns versus the only child, we'll start to see that these things operate in a very similar way. Because at one point in time, the firstborn was the only child. So that there becomes a split or a dichotomy between you and who you were, because this is a change. It's going from being a family with the only child to a family with a child on the way. That change will influence certain children in a specific way that will create a what we call competition. You don't want that aspect within yourself. That aspect shows up in you as a difference. I don't want to do this. All I do want to do this. All I should be doing this, but I can't be doing that. Oh, which way do I go? Am I me? But now they're calling me a big brother. What do I do? I'm a big sister. Well, what changes? These differences can really change your psychology. Like, imagine needing to do an exercise that was the hardest exercise for you. That would be daunting. That will be demoralizing if you have the wrong psychology. So, we have to see where we can categorize ourselves. Let's find some differences so we can know where we can go in order to help ourselves improve. So, if I'm a firstborn, meaning I know I have siblings after me, I'm going to be somebody who's a leader. I might be bossy. Guess what? With those two aspects, I'm a bossy leader. I might do the same things for myself when I don't have the skills to improve on an activity. If I just can't do an activity, well, am I going to boss myself around? Am I going to lead myself to, action? But if I'm bossy and I don't like that, and that part of me doesn't want that, that part of me is acting like the youngest child. And we always see that whenever you yell at the youngest sibling, they don't respond properly. Are you going to continue those actions, or are you going to say, maybe I should not be yelling at myself because I can't do it? Maybe I shouldn't call myself names. Maybe I shouldn't be as cautious on certain exercise machines, or maybe I shouldn't try to control the situation as much. How can I add faith? How can I be more assertive? How can I be more respectful? And how can I learn and not lead? How can I be guided? These are skills that we can use to help us overcome those obstacles in regarding these restrictions. Sometimes you just got to do what you don't want to do. Do you have the right psychology? Do you have the right strategy to overcome? Do you have the right tool to help you look? A flashlight is helpful in the dark when you're still searching for the exit. So, this course here is predicated upon helping you see things like this, knowing that my birth order might generate certain characteristics that are categorically the same as others. So it's something that I don't have to be afraid of. A human is a human. You're not a dog or a cat. It's okay to be categorized through taxonomies. We know what we are, which is the things that we can add to. But the things that we are automatically, that creates separation because it doesn't belong to me. This is a strategy that we can use to change what motivates us. What motivates you should come from a multitude of areas. You should never have a single motivation. Why? Because things get tired. Sometimes you want to play soccer because you just want to go out and play at recess. But then other times trying to win a trophy. This is me in season trying to make sure we win a state championship versus this is me at lunchtime or at the park with my kids playing leisurely and recreationally. This is the difference. It's the fact that you can do both. Do you realize that? I'm really trying to help you convey that to yourself. Do you realize that you can do more? That's the first strategy that you need to understand with soul inspiration. And only you can look back and say what helps your soul versus what hurts your soul. To my depths, I really don't want to do that. Then don't. But we have to keep in mind that we have that choice. We can make a change. We can change our strategies. We can look at our minds and we can say, hey, I like this or I don't. These are the things that create intrinsic factors that help motivate us, as well as extrinsic factors that we can relate to outside of ourselves. We can connect with others through. Let's move forward. Going back to the nature versus nurture. Well, you have to realize that sometimes you just might have tendencies. You might be big boned, but that doesn't mean you can't do flips. That doesn't mean you can't go and be a distance runner. You have to realize that you are not a cookie cutter of what you are before. You're a cookie cutter of your potential. Because you can cut out your own self from a potential, that means we can start to use things to help nurture us. But to nurture means to provide a space that allows for growth and change. How can we do this? We gotta be accepting of our natures. If you are really just not good at powerlifting, guess what? It might not be in your nature, but can you do it? Gotta get your mindset on the ability to change. You might not be aware of all the things that your body wants. You might not be aware of all of your interests, but you can be focused on knowing which things you are interested in and which things you're not. This is the primary strategy. This is what soul motivation is. It is allowing you to see yourself change over time, accepting that you have different likes and interests at different times, and then being willing to say, hey, I wonder if I like it now. I wonder if it's still nasty. I wonder if it's good for me. I wonder if I can do that again. Give yourself a chance. Show yourself who you are. Don't be afraid to jump back into the gym if you're 85. Don't be afraid to join a class if you're 19. It's up to you to see what you like. And sometimes you need a little bit more time in order to really understand if this is for you or not. So as you live your life and continue on, this is moving towards our long term health. You have to realize that you maybe can't do the things that you used to do, but that means you can do more of what you've never done. So, we're looking at making sure our mindset is healthy enough to receive the things that we don't want and receive the things that we do want because we're in control of what we receive at that point. We are receiving it consciously. We are creating a new means for strategy. So, it really, really, really takes understanding yourself and what you are allowing yourself to become. And if you can't figure that out, obviously, get the self motivation kit. This will help you understand different parts of you. And the point of this is, can you go backwards? Can you recall? Can you reflect? We start off with your spark, with your affirmations to get your brains and your juices going to help you understand your souls are flowing. And this will help you see yourself. And then as you see yourself, you can remember what you've seen as yourself honestly, the good and the bad. And then you can figure out a way to express that self and you can say, wow, I really enjoy triggering positive responses of myself at different points of being who I am. Any mood that I have, I can re-stimulate myself at any point and I can say, hey, I'm motivated by that memory. I'm motivated by that previous experience. I'm motivated by that last attempt. I'm gonna get it next time. And then you realize that the next time comes in and it's not even you helping yourself anymore, it's you helping your environment, your friends, your family, your community, your family. And now you realize that you can help the family within because other parts of you are just as inspired by you taking another chance upon yourself. This is the strategy of Course 5. Can you be open to yourself when yourself is changing? Do you have the right strategy to keep your mind in a healthy state? Well, by now you should realize that just having an open space to receive what you want and receive what you don't want will allow you to change what you are interested in. It helps you gain details. So, as you develop these details, we want you to make sure that you have the ability to help yourself. And to help yourself means to help with acknowledging who you are and what you're not, and what you were and what you're becoming. So, I'm Mr. Kyle New Henson, and this is Course 5 of Fitness Motivation, your ReSpark program. And if you need any additional help, you can check out these other resources here on your own and independently. In this way, you can keep yourself motivated, finding new ways to motivate you. All right, I'm Mr. Renew, and I'll see you next time.